This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Okay, so Benzino actually ends up walking off of this podcast. It's called Ghetto Report Podcast. Make sure you go follow them. I think the interview only lasted 7 to 10 minutes. They just clipped it up, but he gets right into it, talking about Benzino getting shot the day of his mother's funeral. He says he decided not to go to the actual funeral, but only went to the wake. And he got into it with his, he drove by the funeral procession to go pick up Stevie J, who went to Plymouth to surprise him. And I guess his cousin shot him. And here's the funny thing, man. So the only reason he went there is because Ghetto Report Podcast had talked about this before, and he wanted to confront it. It ended up blowing up in his face because Ghetto Report Podcast did their homework, got the paperwork, and read it to Benzino. And Benzino couldn't refute it. He actually started getting up and leaving, and actually ended up leaving the podcast because he couldn't face the music. When Benzino had pointed the finger at his cousin, I don't care if his cousin admitted to doing the shooting first, you still pointed him out. It is what it is. You got shot. Now, this is what I think. Benzino, being the hothead that he is, always getting into beef with people, right? He's trying to challenge 50 Cent to a fight now. He's gotten into it. Insane Clown Posse. His partner, Dave Mays, Wack 100. He said Wack 100. He tried to go toe-to-toe with Wack 100 at No Jumper and waited around for 4 hours, and Wack 100 never showed up, which is, maybe that's true. Who cares? They used to be besties, these guys, too, until the Red Roof Inn police video incident with Cavario, where Wack 100 was questioning him, and then they got into it because it looked like they were sleeping in the same room with one bed. That's what it looked like. I don't know. I don't think Cavario goes that way. I think he might have been there to actually help Benzino with something, and it just looked like a suspect situation, to be honest with you. But Benzino's always getting rah, rah, rah when Cavario was more low-key, and the cops got called, and, Benzino was so mad during this interview, he was getting white crust on the corner of his mouth. Pause, So anyways, he gets up and leaves. And honestly, the being the hothead Benzino is, I already know he provoked his cousin while he was passing the funeral procession. Because why would his cousin just randomly shoot him driving by? He could have driven by the whole funeral procession and got Stevie J and left quietly. You weren't even in your vehicle. You don't even live in Boston anymore, so you weren't a rental. Anyways, moving on from that, Tony Yayo reacts to Young Buck going back to jail. He says, I don't get it. Young Buck just can't stay out of jail. He's been on probation for 20 years. He's definitely the hothead of G Unit because you never, he's like, I had to calm down. We were in the spotlight. But, with Young Buck, he never calmed down. He was always unpredictable. Young guy, money, buying everything, buying every car, buying cars off of people. He just wasn't calculated in his moves, and it resulted in him always being in trouble. I can see that. This guy, Belly Gang Cushington, this guy's going to go to jail, bro. All he does, he's a good rapper, right? He's not bad. I like some of his songs. He's always on the highway doing videos. This one, he's walking with a bag of money and a Louis bag. He doesn't have enough followers to live the life he's living with a Lambo, mansion, all this stuff. So that's already sus. And he says he sold out his first headline show in 2 hours. Well, what does the venue hold? 100 people? I mean, I'm not trying to play him. I'm just like, dude, I don't get these people, man, and their strategies. They don't work. You could pay every blog for the rest of your life, pay for views, pay for everything. It doesn't equate to real sales. Look at DDG, who just dropped an album, right? And is very famous on the internet. Only sold 10,000 units the first week. And he has better raps than most rappers out right now. Honestly, his songs are better than a lot of rappers. What else we got here? Yeah, I saw Young Miami talking earlier. It must be so annoying to be around her because all you hear all day, yeah, yeah. You want to go out to eat? Sure. Like, yeah. She's like, she might as well go to, what's that tribe in Africa that talks like, they click talk? She should go learn that language and go live there. Because that's all she does. She's clucking all the time. Summer Walker says she wants a peaceful breakup, but all she does is post about the breakup. I wouldn't accept a life I don't deserve. She kept putting up different posts. Like, it's like, enough, man. We don't need to. If you want to move on peacefully, move on peacefully. We don't need to hear about it. Kim Kardashian talks. So what is this? Ye sends Kim Kardashian a cease and desist over their children's online presence. Accuses her of blocking meaningful access. Okay. NBA YoungBoy preparing for tour. Okay. He hasn't been on tour in a while, too. And I'll be sure. Half of what he says is crazy, and half of what he says is truthful. He thinks that Diddy somehow put him in a coma, and he had organ failure. He says that's going to come out soon. Then he says Diddy had something to do with Kim Porter's death, and he said, Diddy has spies watching him. It's like, I think something happened with I'll be sure. Like, we kind of went crazy. But also at the same time, part of this stuff is true that he talks about. Like, he's been talking about, like, Diddy trafficking for years. And it turns out some of that stuff might be true. Or the prosecutor is going off of things that he says and other people say and using that in his argument. I have no idea. The whole thing is wacky to me. I'll be honest with you. Wacky. Anyways, I think that's about it, man. This is Jordan Tower with JT News. I appreciate you all, and I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh, yeah. Wait, let me see if I got anything else here before I get off, because I'm going to take a little bit. I got to go work out. Usher, Vibes Cartel's making his rounds. Vibes Cartel's really getting his flowers, man. That's what's up. That Wagyu came with a show price tag. What's this? Yeah. A lot of these stars are going crazy. Halle Berry, she's crazy, Let's see. Oh, Vic Mensa. He won't go, bro. He's on some weirdo stuff. He goes around and just, I don't know. He talks to like two people. Like, he does these blogs and they're so weird. Vic Mensa is an artist. Like, name me a Vic Mensa song. You can't. Like, never took off, never went anywhere. Remember when he tried to, like, threaten academics up at the complex? Vic Mensa is a big nothing. Somehow he still travels around the world, and then he's like, I was out in such and such Australia, and we ate, spider legs. They were actually quite tasty and made my spidey senses. Like, these are the kind of blogs he puts out now. It's weird. Anyways, that's about it. This is Jordan Tower with JT News. I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace.